So like I was saying earlier, you're I really the motivation doesn't work. You had a bunch of talks and interviews around that topic. I'm sure you have blogs and stuff. I consumed as much as I could before this, but at face value, I'm thinking, well, of course it does. What is he talking about? And that's right. And then I dug into it, and obviously you explain it pretty well. So explain what you mean by that. Give us that initial summary, and then we'll kind of dissect it a little bit. I think it's pretty unique perspective you have there.
Well, I've been a neurology student, taught neurology in my 20s, and brain researcher, and psychology researcher, and philosophy researcher, many different fields. And every human being lives by a set of priorities, a set of values, things that are most to least important in their life. And although this set of values evolves through time, at any one moment, you have a set of priorities. Whatever's highest on that list of values, you are spontaneously inspired intrinsically to act upon and fulfill. Just like a young boy who loves his video games, nobody has to remind him to get up and do his video games. And whatever it is that we require no extrinsic motivation, incentives, or reminding to do is an intrinsic drive. And that is where we excel. That is where we are intrinsically driven to do things. We're inspired. But as we go down the list of values in priority, the lower they go, the more we procrastinate, hesitate, and frustrate. Instead of being disciplined, reliable, and focused, we procrastinate, hesitate, and frustrate. And we require extrinsic motivation, incentive, and reminding to get us to do things. We'll need a reward if we do it, or a punishment if we don't do it, in order to get us to do it. And transient external motivations are symptoms of a disengaged individual, not a solution. It's a symptom. When people go to work, they go to work not for the sake of a company. They go to work to fulfill what is most intrinsically meaningful and fulfilling to them, whatever they value most in life. Could be their family, could be getting ahead, could be finances, whatever it may be. If they can perceive that the job duties that they're doing every day are helping them fulfill what they value most, they'll be engaged. You won't need to motivate them. You have the right person on the bus, as Jim Collins says. But if they can't see how that job duty is helping them fulfill what their value is, you're going to need to micromanage them and motivate them. And so I say that motivation is a symptom,
Right.
never a solution for humanity. So I'm not interested in transient. Now, why I say transient is because when you're living by your highest values, you tend to persevere. You tend to have longer space and time horizons. You tend to be patient. You tend to not stop until you get your aim. You walk your talk. But in your lower values, you tend to shrink your space and time horizon. You want immediate gratification. When you're living by your highest values, your blood glucose and oxygen goes into the forebrain, into the medial prefrontal cortex, which is the gratitude center and the strategic planning center, the visionary center. Even though the visual cortex is in the occipital areas, there's fibers that go from the medial prefrontal cortex to the visual 5E6 associative areas of the occiput. And so they literally allow you to see the vision. Those are the vision first. Those are that vision perishes, the old proverb say. So whenever you're living in your highest values, your forebrain and foresight is ruling. And whenever you're not, and you're living in lower values, you progressively put the blood glucose and oxygen into the amygdala and hindbrain, where you're dealing with reactions and learning from trial and error, which is the lowest heuristic. So by taking the time to prioritize your life and fill your day with high priority actions that inspire you, your day doesn't fill up with low priority distractions that don't. And in order to overcome those distractions, you need motivation. So I am not interested in having to motivate people. I'm not interested in finding out what they say is important, but never get around to doing. I'm interested in finding out what they intrinsically feel inspired and called to do that nothing stops them from. That's where they're going to excel. That's where they're going to wake up their genius and creativity and contribution. And that's unique, and that's where they're going to make the greatest difference in the world. So the hierarchy of one's values dictates one's destiny. And lower value living devalues you, and higher value living values you.